Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital spoilers allude that Harrison Chase may arrest Michael Corinthos and Jacinda Bracken as their false justification crumbles. The pressure between Chase and Michael is ramping up, so that could be setting the stage for Michael's forthcoming downfall. Effects aren't looking good for Willow Kane now that she's been caught on business cam footage. Willow preliminarily acted like she went for a random drive, but now there's evidence she prevaricated about not being at Drew Kane's place. Of course, Willow has changed her story again, and now claims that although she drove past Drew's house, she wasn't the shooter. Still, Alexis Davis is easily facing an uphill battle when it comes to getting a jury to bounce, not shamefaced. Willow clearly doesn't look innocent, grounded on all her shady jest. Michael will be feeling good about the situation during the week of December 15th to 19th, but his own falsehoods could get exposed soon enough. We see and forget that Michael also drove to Drew's house that night, but he told the Bobbies he busy was with Jacinda. Jacinda made Michael believe she was alone after they parted ways at the eatery, meaning no bone could falsify his story about them being together at the time of the firing. Chase knows Jacinda was actually with Ezra Boyle, but he hasn't been suitable to offer evidence so far. That could change depending on how effects play out in the coming GH occurrences. It looks like Nina Reeves may eventually collect on the favor Jack Brennan owes her. However, it's the WSB, if anyone can produce substantiation that Jacinda was with Ezra. Also again, perhaps Michael will get spotted on business cam footage too, since the Bobbies are taking a near look in light of their Willow discovery. The police will be seeking out further footage from the area, so Michael may pop up on it next. Whatever the case, General Hospital spoilers say Chase will make a double arrest on December 19th. Will Michael and Jacinda go down for the false justification they gave the PCPD? Some charges could be brewing for giving false statements and gumming justice, so we'll bring you updates on any bad news that's brewing for Jacinda and Michael. The baptism began beneath the soft glow of candlelight, the chapel filled with hushed murmurs and hopeful anticipation as friends and family gathered, believing they were witnessing a sacred moment of unity, renewal, and healing, a symbolic washing away of past pain after months of grief, illness, and betrayal. And as the minister spoke gently about new beginnings, forgiveness, and the power of truth to set the soul free, Willow stood frozen near the font, her hands trembling as she cradled Amelia, her heart pounding so violently it felt as though the truth she'd buried was clawing its way out of her chest, because every encouraging word about honesty and faith landed like a blow, reminding her that this ceremony, meant to celebrate love, was built on a lie she could no longer carry. Michael stood beside her, proud and emotional, believing this was another step toward restoring their fractured family, his eyes shining with devotion as he whispered reassurance that everything was finally going to be okay, that they had survived the worst, that their children were their future. And those loving words nearly shattered Willow completely, because she knew that once she spoke the truth, nothing would ever be the same again. As the minister lifted his hands and invited the parents to affirm their vows of honesty and responsibility, Willow's breath hitched, tears spilling over as she suddenly stepped back, her voice cracking as she asked for a moment, the entire room going still as all eyes turned toward her, confusion rippling through the pews while Michael instinctively reached for her, asking what was wrong, urging her softly not to panic, telling her she was safe, that he was there, that whatever she was feeling they would face together, encouragement that only deepened the guilt burning inside her. Finally, with the weight of the baptismal water glistening beside her like a mirror of purity she felt unworthy of, Willow confessed that she could not go through with the ceremony without telling the truth, her words falling into the silence like shattered glass as she admitted that Amelia was not Michael's biological daughter, that she had known for some time, that fear and desperation had kept her quiet, and that every day since had been a battle between protecting the family they had built and honoring the truth she had betrayed. And the room erupted into stunned gasps as Michael staggered back as though struck, his face draining of color, his mind reeling as disbelief twisted instantly into devastation, anger, and profound heartbreak. He demanded to know what she meant, his voice shaking with a rage he struggled to contain, asking who the father was, how long she had known, and whether any part of their life together had been real, while Willow sobbed uncontrollably, insisting that her love for Michael was real, that he was Amelia's father in every way that mattered. That biology could never erase the bond they shared, her pleas echoing the minister's earlier words about chosen family and unconditional love. Yet those encouraging sentiments did little to soothe Michael's fury as betrayal set in, his voice rising as he accused Willow of stealing his consent, his trust, and his truth, his pain so raw it sent shockwaves through the room. Nina watched in horror, torn between guilt and maternal instinct, knowing her own past secrets had paved the way for this disaster. While Carly's expression hardened instantly, her protective instincts igniting as she moved toward Michael, quietly urging him to breathe, to step away before saying something he couldn't take back, though her eyes burned with a promise of consequences for Willow's deception. The baptism was abruptly halted as the minister attempted to restore calm, offering words about grace and redemption, reminding everyone that faith is often tested in moments of unbearable truth. Yet outside the circle of spiritual encouragement, darker emotions surged when Drew clenched his fists, whispering angrily that secrets like this destroy families, while Sonny observed silently, his gaze calculating, already considering who might pay the price for hurting his son. Michael, overwhelmed, demanded to know if Willow had ever planned to tell him or if he was supposed to live a lie forever, and when Willow admitted she had been waiting for the right moment, his laughter turned bitter, accusing her of deciding for him what he deserved to know, a violation that cut deeper than the biological truth itself. As Amelia began to cry, the sound pierced through the tension, reminding everyone of the innocent life at the center of the storm, and for a fleeting moment Michael's resolve wavered, his eyes softening as he looked at the child he had loved, protected, and believed was his voice breaking as he admitted that none of this was Amelia's fault, that she would never be punished for adult sins. A rare moment of grace that offered Willow a sliver of hope amid the wreckage. However, that fragile calm shattered when Michael turned back to Willow with cold resolve, warning her that lies have consequences, that trust once broken does not magically return, and that while Amelia would always be safe, their marriage might not survive this betrayal, his words carrying the weight of an unspoken threat that legal, emotional, and familial battles were inevitable. As the congregation slowly dispersed, whispers filled the chapel, alliances shifting in real time, while Willow collapsed into a chair, consumed by regret, yet oddly relieved that the truth was finally free, knowing that honesty, even when it destroys, was the only path left to her. Outside, Carly vowed quietly that she would protect Michael at all costs. Nina braced herself for the fallout she knew was coming, and Michael stood alone beneath the fading echo of the baptismal prayers, grappling with the cruel irony that a ceremony meant to cleanse the past had instead exposed the deepest wound of his life, leaving Port Charles forever altered by a truth that could never be undone. And as the baptismal water was finally covered and the candles extinguished, one thing became painfully clear. Encouragement had failed to prevent betrayal. Faith had been tested beyond its limits, and the angry consequences of Willow's confession were only just beginning. General Hospital shows Portia Robinson is in a fear, and she collapsed in Dr. Isaiah Gannon's arms, and now everything is falling piecemeal in her life. We're going to talk about Portia's baby secret blowing up, with Isaiah chancing out in the worst way that he might be a daddy in many months. General Hospital Portia forced to come clean to Curtis, so Portia was ready to tell Curtis Ashford she's been seeing Isaiah. That's because Portia knows she'll presumably have to give her justification to the PCPD, and her justification is Isaiah. And we also know Portia didn't shoot Drew King Quartermain. So Portia wanted to get out in front of it and tell Curtis before he heard it from the police, a council, the gossip conduit, or more specifically from Jordan Ashford, who's always butting in. But when Portia went to see Curtis in his office at Aurora Media, that's when Nathan West showed up and arrested Curtis. She had no idea and couldn't get any answers on what was passing. So Portia thinks Curtis was arrested for Drew's firing. but it was for making a false statement and lying about being alone before meeting Jordan at the bar. Now, that doesn't mean the charges won't be upgraded to tried murder. But for right now, it's just this limited charge. Portia's medical crisis exposes shocking gestation secret on GH. Portia shocked, and she ran back to her office at General Hospital, and Isaiah was there. Portia was freaking out, and he asked if she told Curtis about them, allowing that's what had her worried. But Portia was in a full curl, said she no way got the chance because Curtis was arrested. And also Isaiah asked if they arrested Curtis for shooting Drew. Portia assumed so, but she doesn't know. So, also she goes into this shame and blame helical saying it's her fault that Drew was blackmailing her, and also Curtis got dragged into it. And of course, Isaiah wants to know, okay, what does Drew have on you that he's blackmailing you? And Portia started to tell Isaiah. But also everything got so much worse. Portia started cramping and she doubled over in pain, and Isaiah was shocked and concerned. He's going to get Portia some help, get her into a test room. And also Britt Westbourne, who is uncertified to practice right now, is going to rush in and be there to tell Portia that she's there with her. Everything's going to be okay. Obviously, Isaiah knows that Britt was an OBGYN. Technically, she's not allowed to exercise just yet. But Portia needs help and perhaps her regular OBGYN, Dr. Navarro, is in the delivery room or just not there, or in surgery commodity. But this should be when and how Isaiah finds out Portia is pregnant. I don't see how this could be, and he doesn't find out. Isaiah discovers he might be the father on General Hospital, so now, on top of her being bothered about Curtis's arrest and who's the father of her baby, Portia also has to worry about Isaiah's response to this baby stunner and also upset about the health of her future child. So far, Isaiah has no idea Portia was indeed pregnant. And formally Isaiah finds out how far along Portia is. He's a croaker. Isaiah can do the calculation and realize he may be the father of her baby. Portia's going to have to explain why she didn't tell Isaiah she's pregnant. Good news is he's enough chill Joe. He tends to roll with the punches. So he'll understand why Portia was keeping the secret. And I'm sure she'll explain to Isaiah that she didn't plan for Curtis to find out. But Jordan told Curtis without indeed knowing if it was true or not, and if she was pregnant or not. Jordan saw Portia, if you flash back, skipping booze and refusing an hors d'oeuvre at the Quartermain party, and also she just went and told Curtis that his estranged woman is pregnant. Jordan's a stage 5 Batinsky and Portia is still frenetic about it. Curtis remains unconscious amidst maternity drama, so she's going to tell Isaiah. And I don't suppose he'll be upset with Portia at all. And this will presumably support Isaiah's dislike of Jordan. Unfortunately, Curtis assumes he's the pater, with no reason to suppose else. And he's busy erecting a nursery in his house for this baby. And it may be a nursery he doesn't need. He has no idea there's another man in the blend. And Isaiah seems really into Portia. And he's ready to face the heat for dating his chief of staff. I suppose when this all comes out, he'll presumably say that he'd like to be the pater. I'm curious to see if Isaiah assumes he's the pater. Also because he may not be clear on the last time she slept with Curtis. He may suppose Portia was holding off telling him until she was out of the first trimester. So, if that's his supposition, that's going to be another awkward discussion for Isaiah and Portia. The ineluctable DNA test and implicit fallout on General Hospital. I'm certain that Isaiah is going to be happy to hand Portia a sample of his DNA for the maternity test so she doesn't have to test Curtis. Isaiah is going to want to know if he's the father of Portia's baby as much as she wants to know. And I'm interested to know if she's hoping that it's Isaiah's versus Curtis, because if it's Isaiah's, that would give her check on her marriage. So after Britt examines Portia, I can see Isaiah telling Portia, let's get this test done as soon as possible. And also you can move forward with the information you need. So formally she's got to tell Curtis she's seeing Isaiah because of the justification thing. But if they rush the DNA test, Portia could rip off the Band-Aid and tell Curtis that Isaiah is the father of her baby at the same time, if that's what the test results show. General Hospital. Curtis crushed by maternity stunner. If it turns out Portia got pregnant by Isaiah, obviously Curtis is going to be furious. She got pregnant with another man while they were still wedded. But Portia would presumably remind him that their marriage was over because of Jordan and other factors before she ever got with Isaiah. And of course, Curtis doesn't have important room to talk since he was getting close to Jordan and was crucial having an emotional affair while he was still with Portia. And while Curtis hasn't slept with Jordan yet, that's semantics. We know it's going to happen. How will the baby stunner affect Curtis and Trina on GH? Nethermost line, Curtis is going to be devastated if he's not the father of Portia's baby. Curtis is formerly so agitated, especially because he pipped that ultrasound print of the baby. Flashback, Portia was trying to hide it. She had slid it up under her little tablet on her office.
She was looking at it.
But she didn't want him to see it. She was trying not to get him invested in this because she doesn't know whose sprat it is. And also Curtis asked if he could keep it, and also he went and he showed it to his Aunt Stella Henry, who's so agitated and she's pushing for them to stay wedded. This is going to be a big heartbreak for Curtis if he's not the father of her child. And I'm guessing from there he'll lash out at Portia. Plus Trina Robinson just said about her mama's pregnant and obviously assumes that her pater. Curtis got her mama Portia pregnant. So, Trina's got some marvels coming too. General Hospital, will Portia's baby survive? Portia's life and the lives of all of her family members in Port Charles are about to be seriously upraised because of whatever gestation extremity that this whole thing has caused. Hopefully, she won't have a confinement. But it's a cleaner, so that's no way ever off the table. And I mean, if her gestation didn't survive, also that would exclude some of what she has to deal with Curtis. But I know she doesn't want that. And I don't want it as an addict. I want to see her have this baby. But before that, Isaiah's obviously going to be shocked when this all comes out. Indeed, if Portia is pregnant with Curtis' child, however, I'm laying Isaiah will stick around. He's a good Joe. He's really into her. So, I'm interested to see if Portia is hoping for the results of the DNA test point to Isaiah or Curtis. General Hospital spoilers and updates tease Valentine Cassadine is fleeing from the PCPD and WSB, with Carly Corinthos Spencer is hiding him in her garret. They plan to take down Jack Brennan. Will Valentine and Jack end up in a brutal fight over Carly? Valentine showed up at Carly's house lately. Valentine appeared at Carly's house looking bloody and beaten, which shocked her. He jumped from an airplane with a parachute while being transferred to a U.S. prison. He told Carly he wanted to join in on the fun of causing chaos. Carly was scarified since Valentine is a fugitive being chased by the police. Still, she had preliminarily hidden Jason Morgan when he was on the run, so she was likely to help Valentine too. Carly expressed concern about being seen as an abettor, but Valentine assured her that the police would search her house. He reminded her they were in this together. So, she originally hid him in her chalet, but now he's in her attic. Then Jocelyn showed up. Jocelyn Jax disintegrated Valentine's plans by showing up to watch over her mama, Carly, at Brennan's request. Last time, Valentine nearly killed Carly rather of Jack with that Lloyd champagne back in March. Jocelyn and Jack believe Valentine is back to kill again. Joss is concerned for Carly's safety, allowing Valentine might target her since she's important to Jack. So, Joss prevaricated to Carly about giving Trina Robinson and Kai Taylor sequestration after their reunion. With Jocelyn around, Carly couldn't let Valentine stay in the main house, so she put him in the chalet. Carly is veritably upset. Carly is really upset. She doesn't want Jocelyn to see Valentine. But soon, Jack and Valentine will meet and they both want to kill each other, so a big fight could be. One might not survive. It could get worse if Jack learns that Carly and Valentine are teaming up against him. He'll find out, and also he'll feel betrayed by Carly, but Jack has no right to be frenetic at Carly because he put her son Joss in peril to kill Cyrus Renaud just to test her. He wanted to retain her into the WSB. Jack has had Joss lying to Carly for a long time. Jack's lying too. He's lying too. Jack will be shocked to learn Carly has been dishonest and knew Joss was an agent for some time. Jack will be frightened to find out Carly is working with Valentine and disguised herself to plot with the man who wants him dead. Carly and Valentine might bond while colluding against Jack. They've great chemistry. Cleaner social media is buzzing for Carly and Valentine to be a couple. If Carly gets involved with Valentine, it'll only make Jack angrier. Indeed, though he might be furious and jealous, I don't believe he'd hurt Carly physically. Still, she could still get caught in the crossfire of a conflict between Valentine and Jack, analogous to when Carly nearly failed from polonium poisoning during Valentine's last attempt on Jack's life. Jack might try to finish Valentine off. We suppose the WSB master will try to eventually kill Valentine. Indeed, though, he has word Jack needs they trained at WSB together and went mischief, doing double agent work. Flashback. They ran the shady mercenary group, Pikemen. Valentine ended up on the run and got captured, while Jack was also captured but returned to the WSB to chase Valentine. These old musketeers might end up fighting to the death. They were formerly trying to kill each other, but with Carly involved, effects could get worse. If one dies, it's likely to be Jack since Valentine is more popular. James Patrick Stewart is loved by General Hospital suckers, and it would be crazy to kill him off, but they might. Jack could get killed off. According to a leak, a dependable source blurted that Chris McKenna, who plays Jack, might leave GH, conceivably, because his character could be killed. So, with Valentine back in Port Charles, it makes sense for Jack to face a life and death fight with his old friend turned adversary, Valentine. Carly might actually kill Jack to save Valentine because Jack risked her son. That would be relatively commodity. It would really solidify Carly and Valentine as a couple, like true lift or die. Let's be honest, Jack and Carly are finished. She despises Jack for risking Joss's life and lying to her for so long. Now, Carly has a dangerous transnational asset turned fugitive hiding out in her garret. Effects are going to get wild. Effects are about to get violent as Valentine and Carly escalate their plan against Jack, assuming Valentine has a strategy ready. It'll be intriguing to see what he cooked while in Steinmauer, especially after Carly visited and he allowed. I can make this work. Valentine has been conniving his moves against Jack for a while. He advised Carly on how to manipulate Jack, knowing he was Jack's weak spot. She followed his advice. Indeed, if Jack makes it through this, I suppose he'll be done with Carly, since she's the reason Valentine is free and targeting him. Carly pushed Jack to transfer Valentine to a U.S. captivity, setting the stage for this escape.